What's up, all you nerds and turds? It's me, it's Steve, it's Matt, it's Andy, and we are Indies Nutz Podcast, the internet's #1 indie gaming news, reviews, and previews podcast that you've never heard of and never listened to. That's how we are #1. It's true. These are all facts. Remind me after the show to update our logo to the new logo on this overlay. I forgot to do that. I wanted to do it last week. How you doing, Matt? How you feeling?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Survived that fever. Not dead, so that's pretty rad. And yeah, we played some great games this week.
Yeah, me too, man. Andy, how are you, buddy?
I played 1,000 Metroidvanias in 10 minutes, apparently.
Wow.
All Metroidvanias all the time?
That's all I did before the show.
The theme of my Next Fest
Metroid Minute
demo playing was Rogue, apparently. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. This is episode 30, and we are going to be talking all about Steam Next Fest and all of the demos that are up there. We have about 30 that we're going to talk about. Just about 30. We each were targeting 10 apiece. Some may overlap, but that's okay. We had a blast doing it, and we can't wait to tell you all about them. But before we do, let's tell you all about our Patreon, which is the best way that you could support Indies Nutz Podcast and Dual Screens in general. You go to patreon.com/dual screens, just like our Patreon producers, Colton the Apprentice Nestler and FNH Paul. We cannot continue to grow without all of your support, so please consider going to that Patreon and helping us out. As little as $1 get you into our super secret Discord, where we chat literally all day about video games, movies, TV, music, mental health, pro wrestling, just generally giving each other shit and picking each other up when we're down. And it's a really great community. And you can get in there just for the $1. It's a super secret double probation Discord. You get bonus shows for $1, $3, and $5, I believe. There's all sorts of tiers for you to support. Stickers are on the way for the Sticker of the Month Club. They are packed, and I believe on the way out the door. Andy could speak more about that, but you could message him, Andy@ndspodcast.com. Just be like, where are my stickers?
I just mimed the whole thing, so
I know, but we're an audio podcast as well, so.
Oh, can I say that it's not just stickers you're getting, kiddos?
Oh, that's right. You're getting some goodies.
Because
Ooh.
I'm a big, giant piece of horse shit. I decided to put a plushie in everyone's box.
Oh, look at that.
I have a collection of 500,000 plushies over the years. Many of which I acquired over several PAX Easts over my lifetime. And
why did you say acquired like that? Did you steal them?
That is correct.
Yes.
All right. All right.
Moving on.
Yeah.
So this is how the show this week is, again, going to be a special show. It's going to be a little different. We're just going to go over all of the demos we played, and we're going to give you letter grades for each of the demo. This is not indicative of the game, obviously. These are just demos. And we're each going to pick one demo of the show that we've played so far. And I have a feeling we could probably do this exact show next week also, because this is going, I think, for another couple of days, and there are at least 50 more games I want to try. There's 900 demos. So we're going to do about 30 of them for you here. We'll let you know if we recommend them, if you should check them out. Maybe they'll interest you. So why don't we go and jump right in, because there's one game that I played that I know Matt had something to say about, and I don't know if Andy also played it. But Matt, why don't you start us off with that?
So I think you're talking about Spiritfall.
I am.
Cool. Spiritfall I wanted to like a lot. It has a lot of what makes roguelike games that I enjoy parts to it. I don't think that they all come together cohesively enough to make it great. But the minute-to-minute combat is very fun. I think like the Smash style control scheme is very cool. And while I like this game, I would love to see another game that's a little bit better put together pick that up. One other problem that I personally had with it, and I don't want to poo-poo any of the games, but this was maybe my least favorite game that I played because of how disappointed I was in it, is the room design. I could not stand the room design. I thought it was really, really, really poor. For like a Smash style game, you want like big open areas, and while you do get that in like some of those little mini boss fights, which is pretty cool, where it's like a one-on-one, it almost turns into an actual Smash fight.
Yeah.
The general room to room combat, I think, is kind of lame and very, very lazy. I think the room design is a little lazy. It's just like sometimes you'll walk into a room and it'll be like just 2 levels sticking out from the sides of the wall, or and there's nothing really interesting or anything to write home about there. So what I do think it had going for it, though, is the art style and the general minute-to-minute gameplay. I thought it was really cool.
So I actually kind of thought the opposite. So when I first played it, I didn't really know what I was doing, but you really need to die a couple of times to understand what the game is actually kind of, what the carrot at the end of the stick is for you. So there are, at the end of each room, and the rooms can last anywhere between 30 seconds and like 3 minutes. Like you go in there, you fight a bunch of things, the waves end, and then you get something at the end of each wave. And it could be what looks like a tablet or a scroll or a spirit blessing. So there's these different spirits, and they're all attributed. They all have different sort of powers that they can give you. And when you accept the spirit's blessing, you get to pick 3 abilities, like a normal roguelike kind of thing. You get the bear, for example, gives you like ice attacks, right? So like they're all ice based. So, but you can choose on your run. You could choose which spirit you want to go for. Like it'll say, hey, this spirit's over here, this spirit's over here. So if you go up on the right, you could clear out this thing and then get the spirit that you might be working on. And then when you die, you bring back the tablets and scrolls with you, and you use those to level up other abilities that you have, or the game kind of opens up a little bit more with the customization. So it has that carrot at the end of the stick where I don't feel bad every time I die, as long as I'm accomplishing something in my run, as long as I'm collecting some things in my run. The thing I didn't like was the Smash Bros. Like combat.
Really?
But I think it's because of how constricted the levels are, where it wants you to launch the characters about so that they hit walls and you can like juggle them and all that stuff. But it puts so many enemies sometimes on these little playing fields that while you're juggling one guy, 3 other enemies might be charging an attack, and you just can't avoid it really unless you are, you leveled up some abilities enough where you have like your shield that will deflect the first thing that tries to hit you, and then it has a recharge or something like that, or your dash attack does damage where you land or something like that. So I think the level design works against the combat style a little bit, and that's kind of where I wasn't too happy. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. For me, I'd give it a solid B. It wasn't. It's satisfactory to me, and it's a game I could see myself picking up and playing and seeing how far I can get and defeat some bosses and stuff like that.
Yeah, I gave it a D because I felt like the level design, similar to you, I felt like it really held the game back. I didn't feel like the spirit upgrades did enough to differentiate my runs when I got them, even though, they're all elemental based mostly. Like that shot you had, I had one where it was like a air boomerang that would like go out and come back and stuff, but like and all that stuff is very cool, but because of what you were talking about and like how kind of like enemies spawn before you can do anything cool is basically what it is, and the room design is so small that you're unable to really like set up any kind of combos or anything like that aside from just smashing the shit out of everything. You really don't get to like utilize any of the cool stuff that you get.
And maybe you do later on. Like I've only done a couple of runs. Maybe it opens up a little bit. But Andy, did you play Spiritfall at all?
No, I was taking notes because we're going to interview the developer on Sunday, and I'm going to tell him
Sweet.
that Matt said his game was lazy and nothing to write home about.
No, but I
And
think we should average it out at a C then,
was
because Steven gave it a
lame.
B, I gave it a D.
Speaking of
Tell
D,
him personally.
speaking
Give
of
him
the
my
D, speaking of the D, I want to give a D to this next game.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was Dad by the Sword. I wanted to like this game because it looks so goofy, but they made such an esoteric, ridiculous combat fucking scheme that it almost makes it completely unfun. Like the absurdity of what's happening. So you play like a dad. You're running around in your socks and you have a sword and you are fighting enemies. You could find like ribs on the floor that you could barbecue. It's like all dad, like shaving cream and like all this weird dad stuff. You fight like sausages running around. It's really cute. It's really fun. And it's based on it's so bad. Like in order for you to do a left swipe with your sword, you have to be moving left. To do it right, you have to be moving right. To do a downward or like up slash, you have to point up. And then to do down, you do down. And you do the same thing with blocking. So if the enemy is like about to hit you from the right, you press right and block, but you're moving to the right as you're doing it. It's not like you're locked on and staying still. So like, but in the tutorial you are, so you're like, oh, this is cool. I could totally see this. It's like a duel. But no, when you're in the world, you're like running around. So like you're moving to the left, swiping to the left, moving to the right, swiping to the right. And it's so disorienting and
really weird
and unfun. Like I just felt like I felt like it was a like mobile touch game that they tried to put a controller to.
I'm trying to think of if it's intended for a mouse and it like doesn't work well on controller for some reason, but I don't know.
I don't think that would matter because you would still have to swipe and move. Like the way it lines you up is you need to have a direction input while you're swiping,
okay.
But that direction input also moves you. So it didn't fit. Oh wait, oh yes, you're right. Mikey Kerr says the controller didn't work. I tried to do it with the controller first. No, this was with mouse and keyboard.
Oh, okay.
This was with mouse.
You kept going like this. And I
did,
was like, oh, use the controller.
When I first was playing, I was like, okay, this is working, but you couldn't move with the controller, but you can do directions with the controller. So I was like, something's broken, it's not working, which is fine. It's a demo, whatever. But yeah, WASD, like if you're gonna swipe with your sword, you have to press A to swipe left, but your character's also going left. So
it's very weird.
Charming, but like no, it doesn't work. Like it's just not working. Andy, why don't you give us a game? That's a D for me.
I did a WASD game on my list. I'm giving it an A.
Oh.
Because I love it and I can't wait for the full release. It's a game called Coven.
Mm-hmm.
It is a schlocky boomer shooter game where within, I want to say, 2 minutes, I fell in love with it. So you're like a guy that's like burned at the stake.
Oh, okay.
And then like all the evil spirits make you come back to life as one does.
This is a me game.
After you're burned alive. It's totally a Mac game. After you're burned alive. And you're like in this tunnel and you eat your way out and then you kill people and then you can eat them for health.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're eating them, it says like you ate a liver, you ate kidneys. But the first one I got said you ate testicles. And you got like 10 health back. And I was like,
nail it.
Yeah,
okay. And then when I found the weapon, this axe, you like cleave guys completely in two.
Nice.
I'm talking like Terrifier style, man. It's like
hell yes.
And it's so good.
Kick ass
soundtrack.
If we're gonna do a part 2, I might do follow-up impressions on this game, or I might just play it anyway and not do any impressions on it. It looks dope. Yeah, it looks really good.
It's totally
it totally looks cool. Yeah. Matt, what do you got?
I played a game actually right before the stream called Horde Hunters. This is a fun take on kind of like the bullet hell enemy survival type game, vampire survivors.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to Vampire Survivors in that it's very simplistic art style. It's all top down 2D kind of deal. But the difference is there are these like nodes throughout these huge maps, and like one will be like a farm, or it'll be a tree. And if you stand in these nodes, it will give you stuff. So like you stand in one node, it's a tree. It will give you apples. You can use the apples to refill your health. You stand near the farm, it will give you animals, and all the animals have different like explode. They're like bombs. They all have different like explosive effects, but they all act completely differently. Like if you pick up a cow, the cow will stay there, and it's like a proximity mine. So like if anything gets close to it, the cow explodes. Or like a duck will just like run headlong into
That's so
enemies
good.
and completely explode. It's really, really funny. But then there are also blacksmiths that you can visit after getting a bunch of golden experience to like upgrade your weapons, and get new skills and new consumables and all this other kind of stuff. But missions will also pop up on the map that you can go do and get extra experience and extra gold. Really not a whole lot different than a lot of the other survival games on the market right now as far as like powers go. You got your
There's only so many options.
Yeah, like swords, lightning, bombs, all that kind of
chain
stuff.
Thing, the thing that swings around you and hits enemies.
If you like these type of games, this is like a cool take on it with some interesting mechanics.
I like the mission. I like the mission thing because it gives you a little bit more to do than just survive or like try and hit a high score. Like
so like for example, like farm was on fire in like the lower half of the map. So you go there, you stand on the initial node, like it's just a circle that the farm is inside, and then that node kind of expands, and there's like a bunch of water droplets all over the bigger node that you go walk into, and as you walk into them, the fire kind of goes out. But yeah, I had a pretty good time with it. I would give it a C, and I think it has some potential. I think if I spent a little bit more time with it, maybe I would have scored it a little higher if I got kind of into the nitty gritty of all the mechanics and such.
I played a demo called Tantheus, which is a third-person action RPG that has a Souls-like look, but was unfortunately the worst thing I played of all the demos I played. I'm giving it an F. It was clunky. All of the UI was very ugly. Like they don't show the UI in their trailer. They do show it in some gameplay videos, but like they don't show it in the trailer. But like it is real ugly. The combat is pretty boring. The one thing that I will say I did like was the create your character is kind of like a choose your own adventure, where you're met with a scenario and you could choose how you would respond in that scenario, and those responses will give you your base stats and your like build your class in that way. So that's cool. I did notice some, and they don't really explain any of this. It was like I was walking through a corridor and it said failed skill check. I'm like, the hell? And then a door closed behind me and I was like, oh shit. So like there's a little bit of like a D&D role playing type thing in there under the hood, but they explain nothing to you. Here's the thing. We like Souls games now, and games like Bloodborne and games like Elden Ring, they don't really explain anything to you, but that's because in spite of not telling you anything, they show you everything and you get used to everything through your trial and error. This game was like error. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. And then eventually I was just like, all right, I'm done. Like it wasn't interesting in what it was trying to teach you. So I think it's clearly it's not a game that's up to snuff with the genre. There are other games out there, Mortal Shell and stuff like that are just way more polished. This says coming soon. It doesn't have a date. So This could be something that just needs. It could just been super early. I feel like it was like nothing felt like it was the final version of anything. Like the spells and attacks you do kind of look really cool, like the animations and stuff. But like I said, the UI looks like it's all placeholder stuff. It just doesn't feel good to play. All right, Andy, why don't you take our next one?
Wow, I know we're like going like 2 games deep, but you guys like pick some stinkers. My next game I also loved, giving it an A as well. Gestalt, Steam and Cinder.
Oh,
come
Gestalt.
on. This is why you're picking games. You're picking fucking ringers, man.
I just
looked at stuff that I think
I tried not to pick. I tried not to pick anything I knew of already.
Same.
That's what I tried to do.
Andy.
Right. Well, this game we played. I think it was 3 years ago.
3 packs ago.
So it's been
3
a while
packs
since
is
we last
a
touched
good
it,
go.
And
Was it that long?
correct. And I wanted to see what's going on with this game since packs of yesteryear, and it still looks and plays and sounds beautiful. I mean, the walking hair swishy animation of the character.
Well, tell people what it is.
It's a steampunk side-scrolly Metroidvania where you play as a chick with fiery red hair, and she has a sword and a gun, and you kill shit, and it's amazing. And you should all play
but it has a bit of like the thing that really attracted me to it in PAX all those years ago was it's got a very Fallout 3
like
style of RPG quest line stuff.
Yeah. It has like a running quest log, which I like, because it's not just your typical Metroidvania, like, you go, you get little abilities, you unlock parts of the map. It's like very fleshed out. There's like people to speak to, townsfolk, villagers, to do like, it's not the most deep like God of War Ragnarok type of quests, but it's still pretty good and decent. And
I feel like I've been waiting for this game
to come along. I feel like
forever.
Yeah. Shockingly, there's another game on my list for this evening conversation that I've been waiting for over 10 years. But that's
10 years. Well, we'll save that one. Put that in.
There's a story behind it.
Put that in the bucket. It's probably some.
Yeah, that's A. That's A for me.
That's an A. The bucket. All right, write that shit down, yo.
Put it in the bucket.
Matt, what do you got?
What do I go to next? Whisker Squadron Survival.
Those are
it's not
words.
what you think it is. There's no cats, Steve. There's no cats, Steve.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry.
It's Whisker Squadron Survivor.
Survival. Survivor? Survivor.
Is it? Oh, Survivor. Oh, this is like some fucking Star Fox shit right here.
Yeah. So
so there are whiskers.
There's no confirmed whiskers. There could potentially be implied whiskers, I guess.
Okay.
So
wow, this is okay. Yeah. Yes.
How does one imply whiskers?
I don't know, man. I'm just trying to give him something. So this is an on rails.
So is it like an auto fire?
No. So it's not auto fire. You are actively firing. So this is like an on rails survival-y type shooter.
I like this.
As you're kind of going around and destroying stuff, you'll level up. You get different guns, different power-ups. You have like your ammo and your boost are tied to each other, so you have like a certain amount of energy at the center of your screen right above your reticle, and as you boost, that gets consumed, and as you shoot, that gets consumed. So you kind of have to manage that. The flying feels great. Aiming with a controller is a little meh. Aiming with a mouse, this game feels so good. It is crazy fun. Dodging lasers and all kinds of hordes of enemies that are coming at you, like barrel rolling out of the way of lasers coming at you. Everything feels awesome. Before you get to like the later levels, some of the levels feel a little empty, but once you get to like the second or third level, because I died in the demo, I didn't even reach the end of the demo. Stuff really starts spitting at you. There's fucking spinning lasers all over the place. There's like centipede things coming in at you. There's like little bugs shooting shit at you all the time. It is a really, really good time. I gave this a B. I cannot wait for the full version of this game, but I'm going to buy it immediately.
So you didn't survive her?
I didn't survive her. The
Shit.
Squadron of Whiskers.
Wow, that's upsetting.
This is from the makers of Race the Sun.
Yeah,
which is an amazing game.
Well, so what's funny is that when I started playing it, the flight, I was like, this feels familiar. And
right.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. Because it does. It feels just like that game. And like there's all these like cool little gaps that you can badass your way through, but you'll probably not because you're not that good of a pilot and you'll scrape the bottom or top you're playing on. It's great. It's very, very fun.
Blah, 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 blah. Speaking of whiskers, I played a side-scroller old school beat 'em up called Maki Paw of Fury. This is a throwback to the 16-bit era of gaming, but with really gorgeous animations and graphics. Really adorable. I'll throw a link in the chat if you guys are.
I got you.
Yeah, Maki Maki Paw of Fury demo. Adorable creatures. You are a fox. There is a second character, but I only played as the fox here, Maki. And you go in there and you just combo beat up things, and it's really rudimentary, honestly. It's competent as a beat 'em up. It has the same frustrations as any beat 'em up, like there's too many enemies. I'm not perfectly lined up with this guy, so he's not taking damage. Let me move like a little bit more on the plane so I could hit him. It's kind of boring. It's very straightforward. It's just, a bunch of enemies, fight the enemies. The difficulty ramps up very quickly. Like I was just racking extra lives. I had I think 11 lives. And then there's this enemy, these I don't remember if they were foxes or like wolves or something. I think they were foxes, but they were like ninjas and they could just disappear. And like you would hit them once and then they disappear and then they pop up and hit you. And whenever you get hit in this game, your character flies back and it's like they're on ice. Like you just like slide and you can't get control of your character for a couple of seconds. So it's really disorienting. But it's a throwback. It felt like a throwback, but again, the animation's really pretty. I don't think it's going to be anybody's favorite beat 'em up or anything like that. It's coming soon. No release date, but I gave this a C+. It was just out of the B range, because I think the presentation and the charm of it all and the fact that it is competent gives it some love, but it was just a little boring. That's all.
Fair. The pixel art looks very pretty.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. The animation's gorgeous. It's very Woodland Friend stuff, but you just felt like there wasn't much that you could, like, you have a regular attack, you could jump attack, you have this fish that you could slam, that's more like a heavy attack, you could run attack, and then you have your special, and that's really it. So it just felt very old school in its design. I feel like if you're going to make one of these games and it's not going on the original hardware, like, do something fun with combos and special abilities and stuff. Yeah. Like give it more depth, but
yeah.
C+ for me. Andy, what you got?
Speaking of retro and pixel art, I played a game which I'm also gonna give an A.
Wow, you and Steve are on like opposite ends of the spectrum.
Is Prison what his City. List looks like. Mine looks like
mine's
Oh, this podcast is stupid. Go ahead,
Andy. Prison City is a side-scrolly NES-inspired platformer that reminds me of games like Power Blade or even Shatterhand for the NES. You're like a guy. It's very like Metal Gear Solid setup.
Mm-hmm.
It's like legit. There's a codec screen, and it's like you, a Colonel guy, and like a Snake lookalike guy with an eye patch. More Big Boss than Snake, but regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like this island of prisoners. You have to like go and like kill these evil wardens, which are like the foxhound stand-ins, I would imagine. But it's a lot of fun. It has, I think, some of the most gorgeous ass pixel art I've seen in a game. It has like all the parallaxes scrolling things going on in the background.
Yeah.
Amazing retro chiptune soundtrack. And your weapon's like this boomerang blade disc thing that you can launch and it like tracks
Come on,
enemies.
that's a glaive. You know that's like
it is
that.
Okay. See, I was wondering what the word was.
Glaive is the word. Steven's right.
Yeah.
And I was like, what was that game on PS3 back in the day? Dark Sector?
Yes.
Was it guy with the glaive?
The glaive.
Yeah. Weapon.
That game should have been
it's
something.
Like a 2D
wasn't that like the
right.
weapon in what sci-fi movie was it that was the main weapon? It was a really shitty movie.
A glaive?
Yeah, it was like it kind of looked like Xena's glaive thing. It's like,
I mean, there was
Xena's
a glaive
whatever.
thing in Predator 2.
No. It was a shitty sci-fi.
Yeah,
movie.
you said
Predator
shitty.
2, he has like, and he cuts.
Yeah.
I'll look
I
it up.
don't know what he's talking about.
I'll look it up. Glaive. I don't even know how to spell glaive.
Glaive horror movie.
But yes,
Krull.
Prison City, amazing. Check it out.
Krull?
Is the
That's
movie.
That's not a horror movie.
Yeah,
I didn't say horror. I said sci-fi.
that is on horror.
All right, fair. Fair. He said sci-fi.
Is
All
it
right.
sci-fi or is like
It's like action fantasy.
the
Yeah, it's a
barbarian
it's
kind
a
of a
sci-fi.
movie.
No, it's sci-fi. It's totally sci-fi.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Anyway.
All right.
Anyway, yeah,
Good.
this game
Yeah, it looks
dope.
cool. It looks cool. I'll probably never play it.
All right.
Do you want to let me talk about Vampire Survivor like games, because that's what this whole genre is going to be called. I guess they're called kite survivors. I played.
Can I just take like a second? Oh, Steven.
Yeah.
I wanna
Enemy
take
Hell
2
was so much
seconds
better than that.
Okay.
To like, I want to slightly curse you both out because so I had to pull myself away
Only
from
slightly.
Vampire Survivors to do Steam Next Fest crap.
Okay.
None of you told me that
Mhm.
this game was just legit Castlevania in any way. Like the whole thing is
Vampire
Castlevania,
Survivors?
top to bottom.
Just look at it.
Yes, no one told me this.
What do you mean? No,
No, I
just
understand.
fucking look at it.
All you have to do is open your
I
eyes and look at it.
understand,
You just pleep
But like
the peepers.
when you guys were speaking, when you guys were hyping it up, no one breathed the word to me. That's like the sales pitch.
Let me ask you this: what is Simon Belmont?
That's what. What do you want to ask me?
Yeah, what is that? This is a great question. I like. Let's see where this line of questioning is.
He's
going.
a vamp. He's
He's
a
what?
vampire hunter.
He's a vampire survivor
Yeah,
A vampire hunter.
and survivor.
but he survives
vampires and is also a surviving
Survives
vampire.
The vampires.
Think about it.
Any of those whores he saves are also vampire survivors, technically.
Yes,
They don't
exactly.
fight.
See,
They don't-
now
they don't-
now
they
you
don't
know it's a
hunt.
prequel.
They don't hunt.
It's a prequel.
Did
Anyway,
you also not know that
Where'd
it
you
was
play?
crack?
Matt, get
No.
on your Steam machine and download the demo for Swarmcade.
Swarmcade.
Swarmcade
more
is
Mac
oh my god, dude, this game is banana. It is another kiting type game, whatever, but it's like 80s arcade style, like crazy bright, ridiculous, awesome graphics with it was like Geometry Wars style,
Oh,
and
I'm gonna
it
love
is
this.
dope as hell. It's got a phenomenal soundtrack. Like I was like, I just wanted to just sit there and just be a boom, boom, just do this guy. Just for audio listeners, my head is bouncing up and down. That's all I wanted to do. You collect your XP, you pick your power up, you go on. Sometimes they'll drop loot. You could pick up the loot, and it's just awesome. Your standard fare shit here. You got lasers, boomerangs. Alien friend could come down and like hone in on bad guys and blow them up. You could have a homing skull that goes out and kills things. Fireballs, chain lightning bolts. Those are the ones I wrote down. Just so cool, so much fun. It got an A from me, but as cool as it wasn't my demo of the show, which we'll get to later. I'm gonna end mine with that. With
I'll
my
do the
Man,
same.
I
But
really
this
miss
game is
Geometry Wars.
dope as hell. It's coming out this year. I'm I cannot recommend this demo enough. It was so much fun. You only got to play as the warrior, which does like a 360 sword attack that you don't have to do it. You just walk around and he does it. Mm-hmm. But man, I was just having so much fun with it. Simple, obviously, in the gameplay department, but like everything screams quality about this demo. Like it is a quality Survivor like.
I'm gonna put it in my library right now.
Put it in your library, Andy. What's your game that I should put in my library?
Oh shit!
What's your next one? Tell me about your next one. Well, tell me.
Definitely just punched my mic.
You did. You uppercut that shit. It resonated. It was like boo.
Fuck that shit.
This game surprisingly has no rules, and it's not a Metroidvania or a side-scrolling NES type game.
Oh,
it is a game called Flamekeeper.
Ooh, I like that name.
It's a game.
It's very generic.
That is so damn cute.
Oh, it's cute.
It like stabs you in the heart with a knife made of happiness.
Of happiness, yeah. Those are my favorite.
So cute. So you like play it. So you play as a little ember guy. With like too cool for school glasses.
Oh, I like
and shit. And
looks dope.
There's like bugs. There's like bugs trying to get you. It's a roguelike. There's bugs trying to get you.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And you have to go around and get lanterns and light fires and survive rounds, and you go the next. And it has like a Tim Burton Night Before Christmas kind of soundtrack to it too, which is kind of nice. I didn't expect at all, but it goes with the overall like aesthetic really well.
Sure.
But yeah, it's really, really fun and it's cute.
So what kind of a game? You said this is just a roguelike?
It looks like an isometric roguelike. It's got some like you know, the dodgy actiony.
I didn't die at all while I was playing it. It's on the easy side. But it was also
I'm
just a
Andy,
demo.
and I don't die in demos.
I post no hit runs on our YouTube all the time.
Yeah, I'm so lit. I'm good at games.
Look at me.
Anyway, Andy, what score did you give this bad boy? It's coming to PCs and consoles. Is this? Which is cool.
I'm gonna give it a beh.
A beh.
A beh.
Beh.
A beh.
A beh. A beh.
A beh.
A beh.
It's good.
Meh.
Okay. Match you. What do you got?
What do I got left here? Why don't we do Bleak Sword DX?
Bleak Sword DX. So is this on the Game Boy Advance?
What a title.
I wanted to like this game so much.
Oh. Okay.
So this is like a little tiny dungeon crawler. The art style is super cool. It looks like it's playing off of a VHS.
Oh yeah. Yes.
You play on these little tiny like diorama style stages. And it's very, very simplistic pixel art. And as you kill all the enemies on the stage, you go to the next stage. They're very short stages. They're like 30 seconds to a minute long. I really wanted to like this game a lot.
This is a Devolver published game.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe the demo really didn't do its service because I got all the way through the demo. But so you can carry like 2 items. When you level up enough, you get to like pick like, hey, do you want to be like stronger, have more health, or have more like armor, I guess, kind of deal, like where like the hits that happen to you do less damage. There's a pretty cool parry mechanic and a counterattack mechanic. But I felt like what the demo showed didn't really do any service to what this game is, if there is more to the game than this. You can carry like 2 items. I didn't see any items that did a whole lot aside from like up your stats that you already up when you level up.
Passive stuff?
Yeah, it's all passive stuff. I didn't really see any weapons or anything in the game. I did only play through the demo one time, so maybe I missed something. But the combat's pretty fun. It's pretty standard fare hack and slash combat. But I do feel like maybe they could have put a different foot forward if there is more to this game. The art style is definitely the coolest art style of everything that I've played during Next Fest completely. It's just so rad, and that's why I wanted to love it so much. Just because of that like weird VHS like glow effect that they were able to achieve.
It's like 4-bit going on. It's like not that many
colors. Yeah, it's super minimal.
It looks really cool though. Like it reminds me of like what a Binding of Isaac felt like when you go into this tiny room with a bunch of enemies, and then you just kind of clear it and move on.
Yeah, but so the thing is it's not like you're going room to room. You're going like level to level. So like you'll do 30 seconds, the level ends, you accumulate your XP. It like says victory. You go to like a little fire, and then you accumulate your XP, any items you might have picked up, and then it moves to the next 30-second room. And there's no like, it's very stop and go, and I didn't love that. I thought it was a poor design decision.
I mean, that's pick up and play right there, right? Like, oh, I only got 5 minutes, let me do a couple of levels kind of thing.
It's true. You know, it is, and it did play very well on the Steam Deck. So maybe maybe if they release another demo that has a little bit more to it, but right now I don't know. I gave it a D. I thought the art style was the best thing it had going for it.
You know, if you want, Matt, you can play the actual original game on Apple Arcade. And
this was was this Apple Arcade game originally?
Yes, and this is like the PC console re-release with all the DLC. I read the description that talked about it.
Oh, there you go.
I should have read the description before playing it, I guess.
You could get it and play the full thing and
on your iPhone. What?
Sure.
Which I don't have an iPhone.
Why would you do
wherever
that?
Apple arcades are found.
Phones are
the garbage.
Oh God!
Right, that is the right answer.
The graveyard? I don't think anybody.
Oh my God!
Okay.
Can I do it? Can I do it? Wait.
Oh God! Do you have a bit?
No, it's not a bit.
We don't have a lot of time left, and I have like 5 games to do.
It's a quick bit.
It's an aside. Okay.
So like, because I'm an Android guy.
Yes.
Through and through.
Same.
Of course.
But my sister's husband, who I won't call my brother-in-law because I don't care for the guy a lot. But anyway, he has an iPhone.
Knowledge now.
He has an iPhone.
It's out there.
And I'm like, that's a great phone for you. He's like, what do you mean? It's like, for you, that's a perfect phone. He's like, why are you saying like that? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's a great phone for someone like you. That's the perfect phone. And like, he feels like I'm saying he's too dumb to have like an Android.
Okay. Very user friendly.
Yes.
Very close-minded.
Yeah.
Super easy. Yeah. Super easy to use.
Yeah.
Real expensive.
Almost a tool.
Yeah. Like a big tool that
like
is incompatible with almost everything else. Unless you get more of the same tool. Anyway, enough
my
of that.
sister didn't have one.
I wish my sister didn't choose such an incompatible tool. All right. So how many more games do you have, Matt?
I have. Let's see here.
What?
Andy has 3.
All right. Actually, no.
I think I have more than 3.
I have 3 as well.
Okay, so Matt has 3.
I could have 4 if we wanted to.
Okay, so
the time.
The first one that the first one that I want to talk about, I'm going to do 2 in a row, is Perseus Titan Slayer. This is a third-person action RPG roguelike. It's an action roguelike RPG. The thing I really liked about this, so the combat is pretty cool. It's completely competent. It's what you would expect from a game like this. The enemy variety is decent in the demo.
Looks Diablo-ish.
Yes. So they drop a lot of Diablo-like loot. So the fact that they add that Diablo loot to the hook of start your run, like, here's your run, and then here's your character with all the loot that you've been collecting and swapping out. It doesn't do a great job of like telling you how certain mechanics work in this demo. But I think as you play it over the demo over and over again, you start to really understand a little bit, because it's a meaty demo. I really enjoyed it, and I could see this being kind of a big deal. It controls well on keyboard and mouse. Did not play very well on a controller. I think that's just the state it's in right now. I don't think that's indicative of how it will be in the future. But yeah, I could see this being pretty big in the roguelike, streamer community. I gave it a B. And another game that I'll talk about real quick is a game called Energy Heist. I did not pull this link up because I wasn't planning on doing 2 in a row. So Andy, if you could throw that in the chat, which by the way, the chat is twitch.tv/dual-screen-streams watching live, ladies and gentlemen. So Energy Heist, it's another one of those kiting games, but this is kind of not great. It's got an interesting premise. I would say it's that's the biggest hook of it, is it's cyberpunky sort of hook that you get. You could choose different classes, but it's all you're trying to do is you're trying to get to these energy pylons, stay within them, drain them, and then once you drain them, you move on. There's a reload mechanic. So as you're shooting your gun, you'll run out of ammo and you'll have to reload, and you could press right bumper when it gets into the reload like little area, and then you'll just do your reload right away as opposed to having to wait for the whole bar to go up, which is interesting, but it takes away from your concentration on the enemies, because now you're like, while you're trying to figure out where the enemies are and how to kite around them, you now have to look at your character to reload your weapon faster and then move along. It's just it's got some good ideas, but it just seems to be very, the level design is way too big for what they ask you to do. And the weapons and power-ups feel so underpowered with how many enemies they throw at you in the beginning. Leveling is way too slow. Getting new abilities is way too slow. I think if they kind of sharpen those things up a little bit, make it, the levels are just big streets, and there's nothing interesting. There's nothing that will say, oh, I'm gonna go in this area. It's like, find the energy pylon. So you just go and look for it. There's no indicator of where to go. You're just kind of walking around, kiting the entire map.
That's annoying.
Yeah, it's just a little. It seems like this would be a combat demo as opposed to this is what the game is.
Yeah.
And there are a million games that do this combat and leveling up better right now. So I can't recommend just downloading this demo. It's not really that great. It is an early access game. It's not out in early access, but it will come out in early access, which I think this is a kind of game that would benefit from something like that. But I gave it a C-, because I like the premise. I thought it was cool. It's got a cool lore and stuff like that. Andreas, what you got?
Enenra.
Yeah, you do.
Enenra's on there, and this was a hard game, I think, to score. I don't have a score for this game, because I was just in a room fighting waves of baddies for like 20 minutes, and it feels good. It's essentially Metal Gear Rising through and through. It's like a PS3, 360 era hacky slash, like, again, a lot like Deadpool or Wolverine or Metal Gear Rising. You're like a legit discount dollar store rated character with the sword slashing enemies, and it feels really smooth. And it's got great combat, but it feels like just a tech demo. Like, here's what the combat will feel like, sort of. Get a feel for it. But there's no real meat to the demo. There's like a section where you can play through and earn your abilities, like through natural progression. So I skipped that. Went right for the raid wave enemy thing. So, fuck with the sword.
Just because the action is really what draws you to it. It's right, super fast.
Right.
Yeah,
you're
it looks
in,
awesome.
You're in destructible environments.
Right. Yeah, you're in some like blank danger room kind of place. It's like no real details, just you, enemies, hacky slash kill them. But it feels really good, tight gameplay. I enjoyed it, so that's worth a wish list, I say.
Good demo, and I hope that they have a really cool story for this, and that it's. I mean, this could benefit from like a really cinematic, epic story, like a Ninja Gaiden, like.
Well, again, this is like a former Ninja Theory dude,
right?
That's solo dev in this game, so It looks
definitely wearing his heart on his sleeve with this one.
For reals.
Yeah, it's dope. I look forward to that. That's already on my wish list. Matt, what do you got?
Sure, let's talk about so I'll throw I have the link ready, so I might as well just throw it in there.
Oh, look at you.
I know. Let's talk about Gravity Circuit. I absolutely love this game. This is a Mega Man. If you love Mega Man, and these people clearly do, this is a game you should play. So it's like Mega Man, but melee style. You go up, you punch stuff kind of like Zero, but you also have a grappling hook that can grapple dead bodies, and you're able to throw those dead bodies at other enemies, generating more dead bodies. So there's like this really cool ebb and flow to combat sometimes, where you are like, you kill the initial enemy in this sequence of enemies, and then you're just like jumping around using a grappling hook to maybe swing, punching things, throwing the dead body, killing the other thing, grabbing the other dead body, throwing it at the next guy, setting off like a chain of enemies. It's really, really, really fun. The other cool thing is this does have kind of a little bit of that like melee style combat we were talking about, Smash Bros style combat we were talking about, where like your up and down have different moves associated with them. So like you do have your like slide kick, but in the air you'll do a dive kick. And then if you're on the ground and you do up and attack, you'll do like a kind of windmill kick kind of deal, and you'll double kick your enemies. I had a absolute blast with this. It is a Mega Man lover's dream. It definitely has a little bit of a harder difficulty with the grappling hook. I felt like maybe they could ease up on how difficult it was to control it. I felt like sometimes I died because it was like just too short of where I was trying to reach, and I would like fall in spikes or whatever, and take health damage or die. But overall, I'd really, really, thanks, Steve. You gotta say get good. Come on, man, get good.
It's cliche.
You're cliche.
I'm so glad you mentioned this game, Matt. I fucking love this game so much.
Did you play it?
Yeah, I played it like a while ago, the previous demo, and it's weird when you're programmed to want to shoot things in a very Mega Man like game, but you're not. But then when you're suplexing bosses,
it's
like,
so
all right,
good.
that's great.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
take
awesome.
it. It's like Mega Man ZX and Battle Network with the whole chip swapping system they got going on.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Highly suggested. I gave this an A.
Nice. I am going to talk about Arc Runner. Arc Runner was real dope. I'm going to get the URL right now, put that in the chat. Boom. We're trying to get through these quicker. Arc Runner is a third-person action RPG roguelike. Very similar to, in its feel, to me, in Returnal. Not, I mean, it's not as polished and, you know, as tight as a Returnal or bullet helly as Returnal, but like it just felt like that in the areas and how you're gonna fight. But basically the whole premise is that an AI has gone banana and has uploaded like a really terrible virus, and you need to climb up this tower and upload the cure basically, and you know, put everything back to normal. And your it's not, they don't call it your consciousness, I forget what they refer to it as, but like essentially you get uploaded into a robot mech suit. So every time you die, I think it's your matter or something like that goes back to this hub, and then you could download yourself back into this to another robot suit. And there's a couple of classes that you could choose from. I believe there's 3. They say there's 3. One was locked. I played as the ninja. Turn the sensitivity, if you're gonna download it, turn the sensitivity down to like 25% because it was floaty as shit. But it's really cool. You have a melee and a gun. Enemies drop other things. You could get a grenade and you could get a special. I really liked the turret as a special because as a ninja, you want to go invisible and like go around enemies and like fuck them up a little bit. So the turret is a good distraction. There's grenades and you could pick up rifles and pistols and all sorts of cool stuff. I got to the end of one of these levels and you get strapped into a chair and you could pick your augment at that point. And you get 3 choices like normal, but like it augments, you could choose arms. My options were body, legs, and arms. And the arm augment gave me 30% more damage or whatever it was. Oh no, it gave, it automatically shot missiles, I think, out of the arms every few attacks or something like that. I think that's what it was. Like, I don't remember exactly, but I was like, oh, this could be cool. This could like augmenting your kind of robot suit thing, robot body, and like having all different abilities. And then you go back and, you know, when you die and you pick your new character, some things carry over and you move on. I want to dig more into this. It's a PQ published game.
So good.
But yeah, I definitely recommend it. I gave this an A. Definitely something that you should put on your radar. But again, another A that is not my demo of the show. Amazing. Isn't that amazing? But now I want to talk about real quick the Mika, the little witch delivery game.
Yeah, witch lady.
Yeah,
This was good. I played this.
Mika and the Witch's Mountain. I was slightly disappointed. But not for any reason except for selfish reasons. The game is gorgeous. It's adorable. It controls really well. You deliver packages. It's cute.
Sure.
The demo was over in like 8 seconds.
Oh.
Was
that why you didn't like it though?
Yes. I was like, that's it?
The length of demo?
That's all it was. It was like, this was the kind of demo that you would get on a PAX East floor where the line is out the door. Yeah, and the line is out the door and they're like, you get literally a 2-minute demo. So the whole demo is the opening cinematic. You get kicked down. You're a witch in training. Your broom breaks. You're trying to repair your broom. So you go to the lady who repairs broom. She's like, give me 3 coins. How do I get coins? You go to the delivery service. They're looking for delivery people. Oh, okay. You go to delivery guy. He's like, here's a delivery. Every delivery you do, and it's a good one, you get a coin. If it's an okay one, you don't get a coin. If it's a bad one, you get a stern talking to. You're like, okay. She's like, here's a package. Give it to the old man by the sea. So you walk around, you open your map. You're like, oh, he's in that direction. You go, he's like, oh, there's the old man. Like literally like that fast. So you go up to him. You're like, here, old man. And he's like, oh, thanks. Hey, can you bring this sandwich to my son? He's out in the water. He forgot his sandwich. Don't get it wet. What did I do? I dove right in the water because I don't know how to fly yet. So the sandwich got wet, but I got to the boat.
I could swim there. It's faster than running.
I got to the boat. And he was like, hey, it's wet, but that's okay. I'll give you a thumbs up because obviously it's a demo. So he's like, here's a thumb up and you get a stamp and it's green. And you're like, cool. He's like, hey, can you give my dad a fish as a thank you? You're like, I don't want a fish. He's like, no, come on. All you gotta do.
Get it wet.
Yeah. No. We don't fish with anger. We don't fish with hooks and to eat them. We fish them to keep them as friends. So here's a bowl. And so you go and fly and you scoop up a fish and you give it to the old man. He's like, here's the thing. And you're like, thanks, man. So you go to your boss. He's like, oh, wow, you did 3 deliveries. Here's 3 gold coins. So you get your 3 gold coins. You go to the witch lady or the broom lady. She's like, cool. Here's a new broom. Awesome. Walk. Demo's over. and then it does like this like sizzle reel, and then it literally was like press A to play, and I'm like, was that just like the intro to the game? So I pressed A. No, did it all over again. It's like no. Very upsetting. Anyway, I gave it a B-.
Yeah, for me, it's for the walk. That's when the whole thing fell apart for me.
I like the nefarious hiding of eating fish.
Yeah, for whatever they're
we
like,
don't eat them. We keep them as friends.
Well, because the fish, the witch girl, Mika, whatever her name is, was like, I don't want to hurt the fish. She's like, oh no, we don't hurt them. We use bowls. We use fish bowls, and we scoop them up. And then you give it to the old man, and she's like, oh, are you gonna eat him? He's like, no, I'm gonna bring him inside and put him in our aquarium. I was like, okay. But yeah, it's cute. It's really cute. Let's do how many? Let me see how many more I have here. I have my game of the show, and I think I have one more. Let me just double check. No, I'm down to just my game of the show. So that's it.
Ow.
I have
Oh, well,
three
you
more.
doubled up on 2.
I have 3 more.
I'll pick
Well,
pick 2. So
real
I'll pick my
quickly,
game of the show and one more.
real quickly, Phantom Brigade. We've spoken about Phantom Brigade on dual screens multiple times. We've done floor interviews about Phantom Brigade. Phantom Brigade is phenomenal, and it's only getting better. And it's
got way better, dude.
crazy. It is a tactical battler game. I don't know what would you even categorize this? I guess it's strategy turn-based game.
Yeah.
Where you can see the path of your enemies and like you could strategize and all that stuff. Big mechs, use buildings to your advantage, yada yada, all fun stuff. I highly recommend this game. I didn't have to play much of this demo to know that it's gotten super good. We love them over there at Brace Yourself Games. They treat us very well at PAX, and every time we see this game, it gets better and better. All right, Andy, let's do your game of show. Or how many more? How many more do you have?
All right, I could do 2 more. One more than my game of show.
Okay, please.
Okay.
So give it back to back. Go.
Okay. Lakeburg Legacies.
Lakeburg.
Is a game where, a lot like Coven, within 5 seconds I fell in love with it, because when I started playing the game, I was like banging dudes in like 5 minutes.
Yep.
Now let me explain. Let me
All
explain to you.
Please explain.
Let me explain. So, the premise is you have to build this town,
Uh-huh.
and you recruit villagers, and the goal is to marry off all the villagers. That's how you win the game. They're all happy and married
Procreating.
and have kids,
Right.
and everyone's like, yay, then you won the whole world. But if everyone dies, it's like game over. So the folks come in, you assign them a job, a place to live, and then you can like talk to a fortune teller lady, and you can pair them off with someone in the village or from a neighboring town, and you can bring them into the village. But the cute part is you like go on actual dates and you pick options. And then based on how well you do on the date, first date, and then you're married like instantly after the first date.
Yeah. We've all been there, am I right?
Yeah, you're off banging and making
Hey.
kids. It's got a really cute art style. It's cozy. It's not like the town kind of builds itself. Like, okay, I want to build a farm, and it puts the farm for you on the map. So my OCD of like, parallel everything, right angles.
Yeah, like snapping stuff to the stuff to the right place.
That goes away off the bat.
What's your letter grade? We got to go quicker.
I'm gonna give it a B. I'm gonna give it a B.
All right. What's your game of show? Demo of Steam Fest Next Fest.
This is where we have a story
for this week.
For this week, right?
10 years ago, I came across a game on Kickstarter. It was the first game I ever kickstarted. There is a demo for it now in Steam Next Fest. It is called Radio the Universe.
Okay.
You guys, it's like a Link to the Past kind of game, but like set in the future. Holy shit. Okay. Now, listen, I don't wait long for games. 10 years is a long ass time for a freaking demo.
Says the biggest Silent Hill fan.
Your poor face. But yeah, 10 years hence, this demo is finally out, and it was everything I wanted it to be. It's got an amazing soundtrack, amazing gameplay, and I really can't do it with words justice. So if you like Zelda-like top-down dungeon crawler games, please go check this out. Again, it's 10 years in the making at least. At least.
10 years in the making, still no delivery window.
He launched the campaign in like January of 2013. It's insane. I checked my emails from 10 years ago.
Like what I mean is the Steam page still says date to be announced.
Exactly. It might be 10 more years before the actual game is out.
It looks super cool.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. What, Steve?
Nothing. Sometimes Kickstarters make a big ouch.
Sometimes they do. But
all right,
listen.
give your one, and then your
Chasm.
All right.
My number 9.
demo of the show.
So I played this is one I played right before the show called Mob Factory. This is a combination of a tower defense game and Factorio. So you set up different towers, and as you're killing the enemies that come along the paths, they'll drop certain items based on what they are. You can set up conveyor belts on the enemy path that will grab those items and then bring them to like a little factory thing, and which you can set up to craft different items that allow you to like make money to buy new islands to do this again on. Buy new weapons or other kind of stuff. There was like different parts for other factory parts that you could make. I don't know, really cool idea. I played it for like 15 minutes or so, and I could see getting very, very into this. Like you can like weave your one island to another island so that like both conveyor belts converge and go into one mega fucking factory or whatnot. I don't know, very interesting.
Kind of reminds me of Loop Hero.
It does have a little bit of that vibe, but not really. I would say definitely more tower defense-y Factorio than Loop Hero. Definitely has that art style though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Very, very cool. I gave this a C. I think I need a little bit more time with it to really pass judgment on it, but it has a really cool concept. My game of show is the thing that I was playing literally immediately before we aired, and it's Dust and Neon.
Oh my god!
I played this for 5 minutes, and I am already addicted to it.
Yeah.
This I don't know if it's a roguelike. I didn't play. It's a roguelike. I didn't play enough.
It says
of it
roguelite
to
in
get
the description.
I'm reading it right now. Thank you. I literally was frantically downloading stuff before we started.
The publisher
and my
is
computer was
Rogue
being slow
Games.
as fuck, so I didn't have enough time. Yeah, you want to shut up?
This looks dope,
guys. So there's like a cool cover mechanic in this. It's like a top-down third-person shooter. You literally, if you stand behind something that is at all tall enough for you to take cover behind, you will take cover behind it. You pop out and you line up your shots and all that fun stuff. Mechanically, it felt so good. There's a cool dodge roll, bunch of different guns as loot that are all randomized. And that's literally as far as I got. I got like mechanics. I picked up like 2 guns. I shot a bunch of enemies, and it felt so good that I was like, holy fuck, I wish I could play more of this right now. And this is my game of show. This got an A for me playing it for just 5 minutes. The aiming feels super cool. It's very skill-based. The reload is really cool. Like, your gun comes up on the screen, and you're hitting R as many times as you are putting bullets in, basically. And so as the gun comes, like, you're paying attention to it filling up, but, like, aesthetically, it just feels rad. Like, you're hitting R every time a bullet goes in, and it comes up, and it's like, clack, 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 clack.
That's dope.
It's really fun. This game has a ton of potential, and I think also could be like one of the next big things, big roguelikes to come out. It's very, very cool.
And it's coming out in 7 days.
Yep.
Right.
My game of the show is called Crystalrise. Sorry, that was a mouthful.
Oh man,
Crystalrise.
A little racist at first.
So it's I want to say crystal. That's why.
Yeah.
Crystalrise is 2 games in one. Okay, it is a town sort of builder where you're crafting and building your own little island in the sky. Creating whatever you want and building it out. I didn't do too much of that, but you gather materials from the land below, and in your island in the sky, you have missions that you can do while you're down below. It reminds me a lot of Moonlighter in that way, where you need to gather materials because you have a goal in mind at your home base. The combat is very Moonlighter like as well. You go down. I'm just kind of farming. I'm chopping down trees. I'm getting rocks, and then there's like a boar that attacks you, and you're like, ah, shit, and you beat it up, and you collect items, and you're just collecting. And then I found this like little pyramid, and I was like, oh, that looks like a little pyramid. And then I went up to it, and you could go in it, and now you're in a dungeon, and so you could just dungeon crawl and go through and like collect materials and fight bad guys and find treasure chests, and then come out. You could go back home at any time, no penalty. You can go back and explore anytime. It's really chill, a lot of fun. It got an A+ from me.
Wow.
Because I was like, I want to play more of this, and I hope, and it's just a lot of fun. So Crystal Rise, big time thumb up for me, and it's coming out Q2 of this year. So play the demo. Let me know if I'm crazy. It is from Yukisagi Games. So
it looks very fun.
It looks Yukiswagi. Okay. I think that brings us to the end of the show.
Yeah, I'm done.
We did it.
Done. Yep.
Awesome. Well, this was a long one, but it was fun. We're gonna have more demo talk next week.
Yeah.
And see if anything dethrones our current games / demos of the show, because there are 900 of them.
It's too many.
So I'm going to play a bunch of them this weekend and have fun with it. Let us know what your favorite game of the show was. Let me know in the comments. Andy's computer just exploded, but we're still here. So let's get the hell out of here before we lose our Zoom. We love you guys. And as always, please be excellent to each other.